Hi everyone, this is Susie. Welcome to another episode of All That Matters to Me. Hey guys, how you guys are doing? Well, I just finished a recording and I said let me come and do my recording for today. So thank you guys for joining. I hope all is well with you guys. So today is a very different episode that I'm having. We're gonna talk about baby boomers versus Gen X. So I did my research, and the baby boomers are from 1946 to 1964. That's the birth years, and the Gen X is 1965 to 1986. My mom is baby boomer. And so why I choose to pick this subject, because of course it's a generational thing where you have the millennials, and so it is so different. All the stuff that for baby boomers, the traits of baby boomers. Here's some traits: they're loyal, work-centric, team-oriented, and value seniority. They value seniority. I'm from Jamaica, and I remember as a kid, you could not call your mom's friends or an elderly person out of their name. As a child, you have to be respectful, and you have to say Miss, Mr., Auntie, Uncle, but that was it. And so as a Gen X, some of the things that I grew up with in Jamaica, I still have it to this day, where I don't believe a child should be called an adult out of their names. It should be Miss or Mr., but the Susie. No, my kids, when they were younger, would have their friends come in here and they were like, Susie. And I was like, call her Susie. And I said, Miss Susie. And it was just because I'm accustomed, and even though I'm 59 and my mom has friends that I feel bad. One of her friends said to me, don't call me Miss, call me by my name. I'm like, okay, fine. But I still feel uncomfortable calling that person out of their name, because I'm used to calling the person ever since I was a kid, Miss. And so they take a little adjusting to do, but out of respect. So that's that's a trait of baby boomers: respect, seniority. They value seniority. On the other side, for Gen X, we like independence. These are the traits: skeptical, resourceful, value, and work-life balance. Yes, we balance. Back in the days, our parents, they did everything. They go to work, they come home, they prepare the meals, and they do what we're doing now. But we like balance, independence, of course, skeptical. So I like that. We're very resourceful. Not that they weren't resourceful back then, but it says they were team oriented, and then we are resourceful. So, okay, tech adoption. The baby boomers, they adopted technology later on in life. When back in the days there was no cell phone, all of that stuff. They just have home phones, and so with the Gen X, we grew up during the tech revolution. Who remember beeper before cell phone? We had beepers. The beeper goes off, you have a landed phone, which is a phone in the home. Because there was no cell phone back then. You'd have to go and to a payphone, and you use it. I remember back in Jamaica, we used a payphone, and we make all of our phone calls in the payphone booth. There's a phone booth, and you go there, you make your calls, and you close the door, and you come out, and people go in, and so that's it. And then we evolved from the beeper to cell phone, just as though we evolve from typewriter to laptops. So yes, the typewriter in the baby boomers generation. Ours, more sophisticated, more advanced, and we evolved from typewriters to typing machine. Typewriter was the typing machine, and then we moved into computers, and then from computers we moved into laptop. Grew up in that era, and communication. The baby boomers, they prefer phone calls and face-to-face. That was important to baby boomers, and it still is. They rather face-to-face conversation, and with us, we prefer email, text, or digital communication. It's technology we're advancing, and so I tried to call my mom yesterday like 8 times. She's got a new phone, and for some reason she touched something, and the airplane mode was on, so of course no calls came through. So we see the difference in terms of the baby boomers, Gen X, and of course, not to mention the younger generation. They're like tech savvy, and so the parents are trying to catch on to technology, how to text, how to take pictures, stuff like that. And so we have to find time to teach them, how to read text messages and all of that stuff. My mom, once she has a WhatsApp, she's good, but this is technology. So the next thing I want to talk about is conflict resolution, the way we deal with stuff differently, differently. That's how we deal with stuff. Say baby boomers may avoid open conflict and prefer to follow protocol, right? That's how they do it. There's a proper way to do stuff. There's this way to do it, and that's how they're gonna do it. Baby boomers. With the Gen X, we tend to be more direct and pragmatic. We're gonna get to the point, right? And so it was quite interesting to see, and of course, not to talk about the millennium, we're going to talk about that, and I want to do it because I have younger kids, and I can see the way I was raised and how you take some of the way, that you were raised, and dealing with your children, raising your children, because, you learn, we evolve. And the stuff that we did back then, the stuff that my mom and the baby boomers did in Jamaica, in America, you can't do that to your kids. Because in Jamaica, we don't have timeouts. When I was growing up, I didn't know what timeout was. I came to America and hear parents tell the kids to time out, go in the corner, go in the popular corner until I called you out. In Jamaica, we don't have that. No, we didn't have. We didn't have any timeouts. Timeout to go get the strap or get the piece of switch. Pick whichever switch you want and come back with it. The belt. You're gonna take the fan belt, but it's a different generation because in America that's abuse. But we're still standing. But that's how we grew up. So the baby boomers and the Gen X and the millennium, it's different. Everybody, we transition, what our parents and grandparents did, and some people think it was abuse and whatever. We're still standing though. Not promoting, say you abuse kids, but sometimes you need a little, they need a little of that, but you have to raise your children, because guess what? You don't raise them, because the police coming for them. So, catch 2021, or whatever they say, but you don't raise them, and some of them get out of hand, then the law come for them. Once upon a time, they would say the law coming for you if you hit your child, whatever, and you can go to jail. But now, if they don't act right, then they come for them. So, you have to do what you have to do to raise your children. And yeah, so it's a different generation, and I'm gonna do one with the younger generation, and just see how different, and we're different. It's a different way of raising. I mean, cultural wise, there's some stuff that's embedded in you, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's stuff that my Jamaican culture, raising kids and how kids supposed to be, that's just in my DNA. And so even, baby boomers do it, whatever, but the way they did it, still relevant. Taking your children to church. I did that with mine, as the grandparents back then did. They will take the kids to church, and even if the parents don't go to church, the grandparents are taking you to church. Because my grandfather would take us to church every Sunday. Every Sunday we're in church. We are performing during different events, Easter and all that stuff. So we're involved, even though my mom wasn't going to church, but my grandfather took all his grandchildren to church. That's a blessing. I thank God for him. So motivation and engagement. For baby boomers, they're motivated by recognition, loyalty, and promotions. For us, Gen X, we value independence, meaningful work, and flexibility. In this generation, we need flexibility to do an array of things, from working to the family, and it's like life is just going. So we need flexibility to fit in all these areas, and that's something that, I strive for. Meaningful work, yes. Value independence, yes. Not to say the baby boomers weren't independent, but we're in an era where we're more independent as women, because we take on roles where once upon a time was male dominant, but women are being independent. Yes, we're showing up. We're showing up in the workplace. We're showing up in businesses. We're showing up on all different avenues. We're showing up. Yes, we're here to stay. Yes. Did I say that? Yes. This is not back in the days. This is now. We are showing up. And we're coming prepared to sit at the table. Yes. Yeah. And the table is not there. Guess what? We go home. We go and get our own table and pull our own chair at the table. So yes. So we're definitely evolved in terms of that. Very independent. And so it was quite interesting. So I just had to share and how different culturally we can be, but you adapt to your environment, and you take your culture is your culture. I mean, no matter where I go, you see I'm ripping my Jamaican shirt today. No matter where you go, you are who you are. My culture, I'm Jamaican, I was born Jamaican, and that's not gonna change. No matter where in the world I go, I'm Jamaican. I'm a born Jamaican. I'm naturalized, but I'm a Jamaican, and wherever you are, you have to embrace where you come from. You have to be proud of where you're from, and I'm very proud of being a Jamaican. And yeah, so a little culture and a little spice and everything nice. So guess what? Thank you guys for tuning in, and see you in the next video. And remember to like, subscribe, and share. It's free, and I'm coming in with the younger people because it's a difference. I can see, I'm sure my mom says the difference between myself and her generation, and I can see the difference with the kids. And though the kids are having children, because I'm a grandma of 3, and I see the way they raise their children, and it's a difference. Yeah, it's a difference. Every generation is doing their own thing, because it's not the same. So I just want to say thank you all, and have a blessed one. Bye.